In this video, we build the foundation for your intuition to become clear and reliable. Hello, and welcome again to this series, the Six Clares journey, where I teach Starseeds and Lightworkers all about how you can tap into your intuitive gifts. Because your intuitive gifts are really the foundation of connecting to the higher realms. So, in the last video, we talked about how you can sometimes feel a lot, perceive a lot, and you feel also a bit off in how to interpret it, everything that's coming through, all the energies. And I really believe it's all a matter of structuring all those energies, because as an empath that you are, because you are from these really high dimensions, you already know what it's like to work with energies, to work with the higher spirits. But as human beings, we totally forgot, right? We came through the veil of forgetfulness, and it's just a matter of remembering everything that's already inside you. And with trust and practice, you will notice you will become much more stronger. And the thing is, you want to rely on everything that you perceive. You want to make sure whether the energies that you are connecting with are the right energies for you. And then you are able to work with these energies. Because please don't forget that when you came here on this planet, you came with a lot of guidance, a lot of angels and ancestors and other highly divine beings that are so willing to help you with all the loving guidance that they possess. And it's not that they are not speaking to you, they are really communicating to you and to me every single day. But it's a matter of how can we be open to receive those beautiful messages, right? And that's where the clairs come in, because your six clairs are really the tools, the instruments for your soul and your higher self or your oversoul to communicate. And that's exactly what I will want to teach you in this series. So let's start with the foundations, right? And the foundations are very intertwined with being safe. So you really have to make sure that your whole system is stable. Your body, your mind, your perception, and your beliefs have to be in alignment, right? And it maybe sounds difficult, but it actually is not. It's just a matter of setting up the right foundations, right? And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So if you already here, maybe you're a starseed and you want to learn more. So please, if you feel like this is for you, subscribe to my channel, and then I will upload as much as videos per week as possible, so you can really go with me on this journey. So in this video, I'm going to talk about sacred foundation, sacred space, higher guidance, and sacred leadership. And I will explain each of the topics because I think they are very important to start with. So you can really build from the ground up. And just like with a tree, if the roots are really rooted into the earth and they have a very stable foundation, that's the basic of everything, right? That makes the tree go up higher and higher and really reach for the heavens, basically. So, what do I mean by sacred foundation? Well, it's really you, because we are the tools of receiving those higher energies. So, this is really, I mean, I'm not a health guru or whatever, but your body is really sacred. So if you are taking care of yourself and you are stable, that means your mind and your whole system is very clear to receive information. And then if you have like a calm mind as well, you are ready to receive. So for example, if you went to a party and you have a hangover and you are trying to connect with the higher realms, do you think that's a good idea? And I'm not here to tell you that you should quit drinking, but you have to think about it in this way. In order to receive, you have to be clear, you have to be fit, you have to be positive, and then you will see it's not a a condition that if you have a hangover, you can do anything or whatever. Or if you um, are a little bit overweight, then you're not doing the right thing. But you have to look at it like this. If you want to be positively oriented, your body and the way you take care of yourself, really your lifestyle is important. So that means if you are had a bad night of sleep, it's probably better to wait until you feel like strong and fit again. And also, your mind is very important because what I see happening with clients of mine, they're saying to me, "Well, I sense some things, but I'm not quite sure. Can I trust it? Am I not making things up?" And the doubt is not really beneficial for getting in touch with the higher energies, right? So I really think it's like this. It first starts with faith. Have faith in the higher guidance, faith in yourself, and have trust that you will get positive messages. So we are basically told that we are just these human, insignificant beings, and there is usually this divine guidance outside of ourselves who is like very vengeful and punishes us sometimes for eternity if we don't follow up the lessons we've been told and things like that. But I think it's really important, without being this ego person, to look at yourself as a divine being, right? Because being human is divine in and out of itself by default. And it's not that we are better than other persons. It's like if we acknowledge our sovereign power, whoa, magic is going to appear in your life, really. Because then you are also able to open your heart and forgive people who might, yeah, might suffer and therefore are not really very nice to you, for example. And it's not like you have to put up with everything, right? Because, yeah, I'm not Jesus, so I'm not always as forgiving, maybe. But it's really best to have a foundation of love and light. If your default is that the other person is meaning well, and you don't hold grudges, and you try to stay calm, then it's very good to have that as a basics. So the foundations, the sacred foundations, is really about you. How are you trying to connect with the divine? And do you take time out to meditate sometimes? And it's not about following all the rules, but it's more about knowing yourself. If you know what you need, and if you take yourself seriously in your emotions, then I think it's a good way to set up a foundation. And if I take it to a practical manner, um, for myself, I notice when my nights are too short, then I'm getting grumpy the next day, and you see that people who are getting on your nerves will show up, and that's not them; it's me. So and then it's harder for me to have a long concentration of messages that are coming through. So it's really fun to play with these different um, energies, and to see how you're doing, right? And for some people it's best to have a really tight schedule. For others it's more like I just see what how I'm feeling, and if I'm up to something, and then I will do it. So just know thyself and think about what you need and what's also possible, because we live in this 3D world. And i- if it's your thing to meditate 5 hours a day, but you have five small children, for example, that's not possible. So you also have to look closely to your life, what's doable, what's also financial possible. um, wouldn't we all want to go to Hawaii and spend 6 weeks in the summer? I mean, yeah, come on, but that's not that's not reality for most of us, right? So and it's also a matter, I think, of being a little bit loose in your mind, in your perceptions, because I think a lot of us, maybe especially women who are mothers, or who have a very demanding job, we are basically control freaks, right? So, but the world doesn't work like that. And if you allow yourself to go with the flow for a bit, then you will see things will loosen up. So the foundations is really you. One thing that's very, very important is to create a safe space. And I call that the sacred space. And the sacred space is really basically the higher forces, in this case, outside yourself. Because in the end, we all stem from this one source, right? We are all divine beings. And I think we all, as souls, came from this huge source, and we're just godlike particles. And for some, this might sound a little bit who you think you are, but I think we all are. So there's no exceptions. I also don't believe in the chosen ones. We are all divine. We are all golden. We all have our divine mission, right? Some people might be aware of this a little bit sooner in time than others, but in the end, we all make the way up to source and to the light again. However, I think it's very beneficial to call in higher divine guidance, because sometimes as human beings we can't see outside of the veil, right? So that's why we were born with spirit guides. That's why we are able to call them in. And some spirit guides are on a personal level. They traveled with you from past lives. You were part of their group, and sometimes they come in at a later period in time because you might encounter a certain theme. Let's for say, for example, you're in this very hard time in your life, and you specifically need a guide who get you through something that happens at work. So for example, so you will might notice that a new spirit comes in, and even though by default when we grow older, new spirits will come in. Some spirits will stay for the rest of your life. These are really personal spirits, and there are also other spirits who are accessible for everyone. For example, the ascended masters, and also archangels, and there are a lot of different kind of spirits who are accessible for everybody, because they are really holding space for all of us. So what I recommend you to do is find out for yourself. Maybe you already have an idea who that might be. Which spirits am I by default attracted to? And it can also be something from your culture or from your religion, right? Because I think religions are can be very, very helpful for you, especially when you're finding your own way, what works for me. Then a religion can be something that is really like an entrance for you to open your heart, and maybe you travel to other modalities and to other um, divinely guidance in your life. So I've noticed with clients that a lot of people who are attracted to the people of the Christ consciousness, so Yeshua, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and other biblical figures, are a lot of the times people who were brought up in Christian religions. And if you're perhaps maybe more of the Green Tara Kuan Yin tribe, you are you are raised to be a Buddhist, or you were born in an Asian country, and so that's very interesting. And in the end, the energies real are really similar, right? It's not that different. It's just another way of looking at it, and it's also cultural bound. So in the end, it doesn't really matter as long as it's the higher guidance, the higher energies. So for me, it really works if I call in the higher energies in order to create a safe space. Because for me, I'm there, I can protect myself. But it's also very wise to call in the higher realms in order to give some extra protection. And for me, what really works are the archangels. So Archangel Michael is our cosmic galactic bodyguard. He's really powerful. That's why he's always depicted with a sword, because he's cutting negative energies, and he's really protective. And he also played a huge and very important role during the crucifixion of Yeshua. But this is for another video. So he's really, really powerful, and this he is a multidimensional being. And of course, he is not he in the sense that he has one gender. Because of his masculine energy, we portrayed him as being a male, but archangels are really past that level of being male or female, because they are multidimensional and they live in higher realms. And you can look at it like this: as from the sixth dimension, there is no duality. Duality is getting less and less, and of course, being male or female is a form of duality, right? But for the human understanding, it's a good way to look at the archangels in a male or female form as well, so you can have a certain level of understanding. So Archangel Michael is one person or one entity who really is protecting the space. And also, animal spirits are very, very powerful for creating a safe space, because there is another layer to animals, right? It's not only that they are here in the 3D world, they also are here in the fifth dimension, because animals might seem significant, and the way we treat animals is still not human like, we find ourselves more important than animals. And I can understand that, of course, because for most people, when a cat is dying, it's less hard to deal with than when a person is dying. Of course, I understand that. However, I think it's very good for humanity as a whole to give the animals more respect. And because they are here to protect us as well. We all came to serve Sophia Gaia, Mother Earth, and the animals really hold space for us. If you look at the animals, for example, in the ocean, the whales and the dolphins are very high vibe, and without them, I don't think we would have survived so far. And it's also with different species like the bees and the birds, and they all have, as a collective, as a species, have their own abilities to serve us, right? So, for example, I have learned from my teacher, my cosmic teacher, Natasha, Cosmic Empress. Check out her YouTube channel; she is amazing. That the rhinoceros is very protective, and I always call him in my protective space as well, because he's the guardian angel of negative portals. He protects negative portals for lower demonic entities to enter. So very wise to call him in, right? And also the white-winged unicorn, who is really amplifying the messages in a clear way, so you can open more to the message that is coming through. It's very easy to extract messages when you're asked and also thanked your white-winged unicorn. So these are just examples for animal spirits to call in within your sacred space. And it's also depending on the mood you might perhaps have. So yeah, just tune in. What does it mean for you? And of course, you can find a lot of information, what the crow is standing for, or why would you call a lion or whatever. But I think it's very important to look at what does it mean for you, not what a lion means to someone else, but how can you learn from a lion? What information can you share, and how can this specific animal be of your, yeah, of your help? So the sacred space is calling in higher energies within a humanoid form, with in a spirit, animal spirit form, or and also look at your cultural background, because like I said, the angels, the archangels, they can really be of assistance. But also in other modalities, like for example Santeria, there are um, spirits who are protective, and also ancestors can be very helpful. Within the native religions, you see that the earth-based energies like ancestors are very beneficial as well, and also the divas of the land, of the sea, the water. So before you do any energy work, I really recommend you take care of yourself on a mental level, on a physical level, on a spiritual level. You take care of yourself. Then you call in the higher energies, and it's really fun to do that, and it can also happen like very quickly. You don't have to take hours and hours and hours to get in that state of higher energies. It's really a matter of shutting off all distraction, and then you sit down and you close your eyes. But you can also do it when you're walking in nature, right? Nature is very high vibe. So this means it's very easy to connect with the higher energies while in nature. So if you're more the person to sit outside the nature or to walk in nature while calling in the energies, that's very beneficial as well. So the higher guidance is also part of creating the safe space, right? And you will notice as soon as you start working with these higher energies, and working with them is nothing more than taking some couple of minutes a day to open your heart and to tune in, then you will see that new spirits will come through. And this is so amazing because you will actually give them a sign that you are open and willing to receive. And then, if they feel like you recognize them and you give them a sense of, I notice you, I thank you for being here, then the higher spirits will even come on a more regular notice. And I think this is really the basics because in the end, it's not about doing playing small anymore. We don't have to keep ourselves very small anymore. It's about sacred leadership. So what is sacred leadership? Sacred leadership is really like every light worker and every star seed is stepping into their highest potential. And this is it's not easy to understand and not easy to do, because this means you really have to look at yourself, that you are doing the work, the spiritual energetic work every day, in order for you to step into those higher paths, your higher mission, because we came here with a mission, you as well. And then you can do your thing with your unique qualities, and then you can build up your spiritual business because you are interested in working with certain kinds of, let's say you want to work with music or children, or you want to paint, or you want to build a qigong studio, or whatever you want to do. And this is sacred leadership, and I think that is so important to do, because imagine yourself all the people who would benefit from you stepping into your higher energies. If you would imagine them, and if you would see them before your eyes, how would that look like? So what would it mean if you don't step into your highest potential, right? And it's not to give you any pressure or to push you, but really think about it. We are so consumed in our everyday life that it's sometimes really hard to take off 5 minutes a day, even to sit and close your eyes, whether you call that meditation or journaling or affirmation or whatever, but just to tune in. And I think that's a commitment you want to have to make for yourself. It's not something that's it's going to be pushed from outside. And I really hope that all the light workers and seeds are willing to do this, because then we're amplifying love and light on this beautiful planet. Can wait for that. But that's another thing. You don't have to wait for anyone else. Just do your thing in your divine timing, and sometimes maybe push yourself a bit to just keep on doing the work and show up, and then everything will be all right. So, if you are interested in learning more about who you are at soul level, I'm an Akashic Records reader, so you're more than welcome to book a reading with me. so we can really dive deeply into your soul's history, where you came from, what your unique qualities are, and what you came here to do, and in which way. And you can ask questions, and it's also recorded by a video call, so you can always rewatch it. And it's so fun to do because for me as well, I'm learning as well because the universe is so expanded and it's such a creative force. And every time that someone comes in and I'm opening the records, new information is coming through, right? Because everyone has had their own memories and history and soul travels, and it's really exciting. So if you are interested in that, just somewhere in the link below in this video there's a bookings link, and I hope to see you for the next video. Bye.